Write up a single column cash book of Mr. Y for the month of April 2015. We are given information as to date 1/4/6 till 30th, and on 1st there is a balance, on 4th 6th there are sales, 8th there is a purchase, on 12th there is a payment, and it goes up to 30. Okay, let's go one by one, but before that let's take the format of cash book. Okay, so this is going to be the format. We'll say in the books of Mr. Y, cash book. Let's get started. On 1st there is a balance in hand rupees 5,000. So let's record that. On 1st April 2015, we'll say to balance brought down, amount is 5,000. Then on 4th they've sold goods on credit to Mr. Z, rupees 3,000. This is a credit sale, no cash is involved, so this will not affect the cash book. Whereas on 6th there is a cash sales. So if there is a cash sale, cash is coming in, debit what comes in, cash account debit, and credit will go to sales account. Okay, and here you have the cash book. Cash book is debited and credit will go to sales account, right? And this is happening on 6th April. So 6/4/15, we'll say to sales account being goods sold for cash, and amount involved is 1,000. Then on 8th there's a purchase of goods on credit from Mr. P, and again this is a transaction where there is no cash involvement, so this will not affect cash book. Whereas on 12th, paid to Mr. P rupees 2,000 and received discount of rupees 200. Okay, so cash is going out. Okay, and who is receiving it? Mr. P. Mr. P is the receiver of benefit, and it is, I mean, what is going out? Cash is going out. So debit the receiver of benefit, Mr. P is the receiver of benefit, and credit what goes out, cash is going out. Okay, so cash account will be created on 12th May 2015. Okay, we'll say by Mr. P account being paid to Mr. P. And what is the amount involved? It is 2,000. The discount received is not actually received in terms of cash. Okay, so that will be recognized as income. It goes to P&L and all, but in the name of discount receipt there is no cash movement, so that will not find place in cash book. Next, on 15th, goods returned to Mr. P for 800. There is no cash movement, so this will not find place. Then on 20th, goods returned by Mr. Z for 300. Again, there is no cash movement, this will not find place in cash book. On 25th, Z settled his account for rupees 2,500. Okay, Z is basically customer. He purchased goods on credit. He basically purchased goods on credit for 3,000, and he had returned goods worth how much? 300. So he has purchased only for 2,700, but how much he is settling? 2,500. It means some kind of a discount is given to him. But what is happening here? When Z is settling his account, money is coming in, so cash account will be debited and credit the giver of benefit. Z is the giver of benefit, so Z account will be credited. So let's capture that. And when it is happening? It is happening on 25th. It is happening on 25th. And a small correction in the date here. I mentioned it as 12th May. It is not 12th May, it is 12th April. Okay, right. And the next transaction is happening on 25th April. 25/4/15 to Z account. Here cash is coming in, so cash account. On the debit side we are saying to Z account. For our understanding, we'll say within bracket Z settled his account, and what is the amount that is received? 2,500. Done. Then on 26th, paid salary by check. Paid salary by check for rupees 1000. In this problem, we have to appreciate one thing. We are writing up a single column cash book. It means only cash transactions are recorded here. Payment of salary by check would come under bank column, whereas we are going by single column cash book. That's why here we have mentioned cash book as the only book of single entry. Okay, so payment of salary by check will not find place here. Next, item number, sorry, on the date 30, received interest for rupees 1000. So money is coming in cash account debit and it is in the nature of income. So to interest, credit incomes and gains. So interest account will be credited. Okay. So that's on 30th. We'll write 30th April 15 to interest account. We can say being interest received and amount involved is 1000. So we have captured all the transactions till 30th. We have avoided some items which will not find place in cash book. Okay. So now let's total both sides. On the debit side, if you look at the total, it is alright, I'll take like this. It is 9500, whereas on the credit side it is only 2000. Okay, so we'll adopt the higher total. It means on the credit side we have a difference. 9500 minus 2000. This 7500 will be the closing balance. On 30th April 2015, we can say by balance carry down. That's going to be this 7500, and the same will be the opening balance. That is on 1st May 2015 to balance brought down, it will be this 7500. Prepare cash book of Mr. Abhishek for the transactions between Jan 1 to 15. We have various transactions: cash balance, bank balance, some discounts allowed, discount received, all this we can see. So we'll go with the triple column cash book where we'll have separate columns for cash, bank, discount allowed, discount received. Okay, so in the books of Mr. Abhishek, cash book, and if you notice on the debit side, basically we are going to capture receipts, but we'll also have column for cash, bank, discount allowed, and on the credit side we'll be capturing the payments. We'll also capture discount received. Okay, on 1st Jan, opening balance is available. So on 1/1 we'll say to balance brought down, cash is 3800, bank is 27500. Then on 4 Jan, wages paid in cash 1500. Since it is payment, it is going to appear on the credit side. On 4 Jan, we'll say by wages account will show under cash column because it's paid through cash. Then on 5th Jan, received check of 19,800 from KBK Enterprises after allowing a discount of 200. Cash, not cash, it is coming through bank, so bank account will be debited. Okay, debit the receiver of benefit, and giver of benefit is KBK, and there is also discount allowed 200. So we'll capture all this, and this is happening on 5th Jan. Okay, 5th Jan to KBK account, we'll say to KBK account, how much? 19,800, and discount allowed is 200, which we'll capture here. Then on Jan 7, paid to consultancy by check 7500. Okay, this is happening on 7 Jan. By consultancy account, paid through bank. Fine. Then cash of 2500 withdrawn from bank on January 10. So here, this is a transaction which will have effect on both sides. So I'll write the date both sides. Cash is withdrawn from bank. It means cash balance will go up, so it will be debited. Bank balance will come down, so it will be credited. Okay, so we'll say by, what is happening here? Cash is withdrawn from the bank. Okay, so bank account is credited and debit is going to cash account. So we'll say to buy cash account, and here we'll say to bank account. Finished. Next, on 12 January, received a check for 4,500 in full settlement of the account of Mr. X at a discount of 10%, and deposited the same into the bank. So the amount that should have been ideally received is not 4,500, because this 4,500 is after providing for discount of 10%. If after providing for discount of 10%, it means it is actually representing 90%. If 4,500 is representing 90%, then what is 100%? That's the question. It's simple. We can do a cross multiplication. 4,500 into 100% divided by 90%. So the ideal amount should have been 5,000. And that's what question also says. It is after a discount of 10%, because on 5,000 you apply 10%, you get 500. 5,000 minus 500, you get 4,500. Okay, so this understanding is required, because the question says received a check of 4,500 in full settlement of the account of Mr. X at a discount of 10%. So you have to quantify this 10%. The 10% should not be applied on 4,500. If you apply, it will be 450. Whereas you have to apply that on 5,000. On 5,000, 10% is 500. Okay, and only that should be given effect. So let me capture that here. Money is coming in. Is that the case? Yes, it is coming directly to the bank. Received a check. So we'll record that this is happening on 12th Jan. 12 Jan. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Who is receiving? Bank is receiving. How much? 4,500. And in the process, discount allowed is 500. Okay, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Who is giving? Mr. X is giving. Okay, so we'll say to Mr. X account 4,500 and discount allowed is 500. This is the position on 12th Jan. Whereas on 15th Jan, X check returned dishonored by the bank. It means you have to reverse this entry. Whatever you have passed, you have to reverse it. So on 15th Jan, we'll simply reverse this. Here on the debit side, we have written 4,500 and 500. Okay, same thing we'll write here also. Under bank, 4,500 and 500, and here we say by Mr. X account. It means whatever we have accounted as receipt got nullified now. Okay, so it's time to close, because we have captured all the transactions. Let's see the total on the debit side and credit side. Whichever is higher, we have to carry that total. On debit side, total is 6,300. On credit side, it is only 1,500. Okay, here it is 51,800, whereas here it is only 14,500. Here it is 700, and here it is 500. As far as the last column, that is discount received and discount allowed is concerned, we will not do any balancing, because they will go separately to the statement of profit and loss. Okay, so we will not do any balancing. We will carry the total as it is for these two columns, whereas for the other two columns, higher total have to be taken and we have to arrive at the balancing figure. So we have to take 6,300 here, and here we have to take 51,800. It means there will be some balancing figure. For bank, let's see what is the balancing figure. It is 51,800 minus some of these items. It is 37,300. Okay, so this is the closing balance. I'll just say by balance carry down 37,300 for bank, and cash it is 6,300 minus 1,500. It is 4,800. It is 4,800. This is the balance position. Okay, so we have prepared this triple column cash book.